I mean, I don't know how many times sexual dominant people have made me cringe, but I'm on a podcast with you
Oh,
three, and it's like every 5 minutes. So
take it back.
I will not.
No,
say
I
you're
mean
welcome.
part of being sexual dominant is like just willing to humiliate yourself and just
Oh
keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah, that's why I could never date a sexual dominant because I was just constant cringing. And as a three, it's like ugh, nails on a chalkboard.
Are you into me? And I want to see it somehow.
The big hormone enneagram.
Let me lay it on the line. I got a little freakiness inside. Let you know that the man has got to deal with it.
Hi, I'm John Lukovich, sexual self-pres 4-5 wing 458 trifix.
Hi, I'm David Gray, self-pres sexual 9-1 974 trifix.
What up? It's Emeka. I'm an 8-wing-7, sexual self-pres with 854 fixes.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I am a self-pres social 3, wing 4, with a 369 trifix. If you like our podcast, guys, make sure you go like and subscribe on the Apple Podcast app. And if you really like us, you should definitely leave us a review. Welcome to the Big Hormone Enneagram. We are here today to roast all you lovely butthurt lovers that don't know how to do shit. Yeah, we're going to listen to your calls and tell you how to live your life better and what you're doing wrong.
Which is
Listen,
probably everything.
Why
Yeah,
every type
you're-
sucks.
you're doing it wrong, but I'm very disappointed in our listeners. We put out a love line, and some of y'all
We're brave
gave
enough.
us- yeah, some of y'all were brave enough. A lot of people were like, I don't know if I'm going to talk to somebody. You know what? We do a love line in the future. You call, all right? None of this bitching and complaining. You call. So really, props to those handful who did it.
It's a tiny handful.
Tiny handful, and we're going to keep doing these in the future, whether we get calls or not.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're just going to wait on all of you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all think that, like, you know, we're just going to tear into you or not.
We think
think
this
it's-
idea is funny. We're going to keep going with it, whether we get content or not. You know what I mean?
And the
So-
thing
So you
is,
better give
here's,
us content.
here's what we're going to do actually is we're going to make up stuff and
Yeah.
assign it to certain people's names. And we're going to say that you called in and asked this question,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't your question.
And we're
So
going to
you
give
better-
your Instagram handle
So you better call. We're threatening you.
Come on.
Yeah.
and your OnlyFans handle.
Pathetic.
And we're just,
I can't believe we only got 4 people. I thought we had better fans than that.
Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
months ago, I asked for some reviews on the Apple podcast app for David's voice, just David's voice. Nobody showed up. So, you know,
terrible
disgusting.
listeners, really.
We did have one person who went back and edited their review to said, okay, I want more of David's voice.
Well,
And
thank you for that.
One person.
one person, but people have been making little comments here and there in DMs or wherever else about David's voice, but no one has actually
I know.
left a review about. Oh, you know what? We got a new review. Someone saying, "Oh, the intro slaps." I forgot to post it, but
That's good. Yeah, no, I mean, I got like a lot of like, I don't know if I should call in, kind of like I got more of that than we got actual call.
Jesus.
I think on my voice, we just need to admit that nobody likes me.
David, you just want us all to now say that we like you, don't you?
That's it. Yeah.
People don't need to like you. That's not why they come to you. Nobody comes to David Gray because they like him.
I
Nobody listens to this podcast because they like us. They're all hate listeners. They're all hating. They're all fucking annoyed with us. And why do every fucking online Facebook group has to complain about us? Like, why? So somebody listens and they're like, why are you checking out? Like, why are these people being complained about? And they just join in. It's a cycle of hate, and we're fine with that.
We're the hot chick that everybody loves to hate. That's
Mhm.
what we are. You got to come to us for the goods because no one else has what we have. We got that WAP.
We got WAP. All right, we got first call is from our beloved Sarah.
Yeah, and she is the only person that was brave enough to say her name.
Oh.
A
Everyone
hero.
else is anonymous.
Proud of you, Sarah.
Yeah.
But we
So
can
Sarah.
we can call out Sarah's name in a moment of passion.
My boyfriend
that's
would
gonna
really
be-
appreciate that.
That's the tier, like one of the tier of our rewards
go.
for calling in is first we call out, and during orgasm with our partners, your name. Totally unprepared.
That's the
And
first
then-
tier. What's this? What the heck is the second?
We're gonna figure that out as we go, but that's
Oh,
the
God.
first tier.
Sarah was the first person to call in and leave a Loveline voicemail. So for that, she is
What?
honored and
God
respected.
damn it.
Damn.
You are
Sarah.
Love her.
our queen, Sarah.
Queen Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I was wondering, as a sexual last type who is also a head type, how would you guys suggest I stop being so fucking awkward? Thanks.
All right, Queen Sarah. Being sexual blind and head type, don't think about it too much is one of the first things to tackle. It's like sexual energy comes from the body, and the problem is thinking about the body or thinking into the body or thinking about sexual energy in general, like unconsciously, whatever your dominant instinct is. Like we sense that we are unconsciously sort of like hooked into the signals that are coming from the sensation, the body-based input of those instincts. And so the blind spot, we don't really pay attention to those signals, but they're already there. So somebody who's sexual blind already has this sexual instinct in there. Like it's not like you're missing a sexual instinct. And that's the thing we always, especially the sexual blind, but all of us have to remember about our blind spot is that it's already there. We just have to start listening to it. And so that often means doing practices or whatever that help you not only listen to what your body's feedback is and also prioritize it, but not come at the body from your dominant center, which in your case, the head center.
I feel like you just told someone to just not breathe. Don't think about it, head type. Just don't breathe while you're at it.
My advice is the best advice, okay?
Hmm.
It's you don't have to think. My unbiased opinion is you need to get with Emeka. That's
Yeah,
the best
mean-
advice that I can give you.
Getting with
You don't-
Emeka is usually just the inevitable.
Is that the
He'll-
second tier?
Second tier is getting with Emeka, night with
That's-
Emeka.
Because you don't have to think he'll just take care of the whole thing. You won't even know that you have anxiety anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say get with an 8.
But for
They
real, I
won't
think
let
that's
you
good
think
advice.
about it.
Yeah, I think that's good advice actually. Get with an eight.
I think I'd be better though.
You think?
That's tier 3 is night with David.
Are you tier 4? Because that would be really self-centered of you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
Tier
god.
4.
Tier 4, night with a 4, tier 4.
Womp womp.
I'm
But
something for 6s, y'all. Like it's me. I'm something
Me,
for
am
6s.
I tier 5? I want to be tier 5.
you're tier 5 if you declare yourself tier 5. Otherwise,
Okay,
no
fine.
one's
I'm
gonna
tier
give it
5,
to you.
bitch.
All right. Yeah, tier 5. All right, but for real though. All right, so that's a fair point, Nancy. That it's not
Yeah.
like saying it's like don't breathe. At the same time, it's like working against the habit of the type is like, it's work, it's a struggle. And so part of what I think for sexual blind people, a lot of times they're very in touch with their sexual blind spot, but it's sort of siphoned away or compartmentalized from the rest of their life.
Mhm.
Like if you've ever dated a sexual blind, it's like, oh, there it is when you're in private with them.
Right.
And part of what the challenge is for somebody who is either self-pres or social self-pres is to integrate the sexual instinct that they already got into their self-concept, into their day-to-day. And a lot of times the sexual blind person unconsciously feels they're going to be inappropriate or they're going to be alienating to other people. And that's true. Like in some ways, when you are stepping into your sexual instinct, you're attracting and repelling. When somebody is not in touch with their sexual blind spot, a lot of their actions can be impersonal or mechanical or routine in some way. Like they're not in their own action, and they're not in their own expression. And so part of integrating the blind spot is integrating a part of you that you're not in control of, from the point of view that like the self-pres and social are instinctual drives that we have a lot more of control over. Like we can adapt, be more appropriate, and self-pres, it's sort of like we know how to get that shit done. But sexual, you're inviting something a little like that you don't have a bird's eye view over. it's a little bit mysterious in the sense that both who we're attracted to, how we're attracted, and how our attraction is responded to within us is a bit mysterious and it's a bit out of our hands, but also like what it means to sort of put our personal flavor out there. We can't anticipate how people are going to respond to it. So it becomes like I was thinking about, like, don't think about it. It's like getting into the body allows that to come more naturally and allows that to come more spontaneously. And when you can give up some of the management of it, especially from the head point of view, it's like you'll start noticing that your sexual instinct is already in the mix. And if you're just not like putting a bottle cap on it or like, pressing it down, it's got more room to breathe.
One thing I will say though is that being a sexual type or having sexual in your top two instincts doesn't mean like awkwardness goes away. There are
Mm,
plenty of awkward or sexual types who feel awkward, but it just means that for them, they might just awkwardly pursue it anyway. Like they're
mm-hmm.
and so I don't think necessarily trying to get rid of awkwardness is something to strive for because I'm an 8 and I have moments of nervousness about um approaching someone or it's just there, but I'm gonna go do it anyway. So yeah, I think you can still you don't want to just throw your hands up in the air and give up if you feel awkward. It's kind of like getting your head in the game or just throwing your hat in the ring and just going for it anyway. And I think you can get rid of awkwardness through action. Just do it.
Mhm.
That's great, actually. Yeah, like with the blind spot, we give up really easily. Like
Mhm.
we're not prone to give up on our dominant instinct. And like, let's say you're awkward in social or something, or if that's your dominant or whatever. Like we might lean into the awkwardness of our social instinct to be kind of like a charming, quirky, or endearing kind of element. But then it's sort of like we're awkward in our sexual instinct, and it's like, oh, I can't even do that. I feel ashamed and humiliated.
Yeah.
And so what Emma speaking to is like, don't give up. Just keep going and like allow that to be actually part of your flavor.
Yeah. Sixes, especially sixes, use awkwardness as sort of a sexual display. Like that's a real thing. If there's a
Mhm.
vulnerability in the awkwardness of sixes because they put it on display and it lowers people's guards down. I know that's a big part of OD's games.
Yeah, I use that a lot. Is like when I'm flirting with guys, I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking awkward. Sorry. And they're like, oh no, it's cute. And I'm like, great, because it's fucking weird.
What's the vulnerability? It's like putting some of your vulnerability out there is also that lack of control, that's like inviting
Yeah.
that sexual soft spot.
I would say to Sarah, "Are you into me?" And I want to see it somehow. Not like physically doing something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like I want to feel that coming off of you, Sarah. You know what I mean? Like like give me something, give me some juice.
That's
Show me
great.
this.
Yeah, that like show somehow. Like
Yeah.
that's a big thing that like I feel like sexual blinds can be either really subtle or really overt, and they don't
Mhm.
quite know how to like just put it like so a lot of the sexual instinct is about creating tension. It's about polarity. It's about when there's tension, interpersonal tension, you want to resolve it by either falling apart and repelling or coming together and attracting. And so, like masculine and feminine is one such polarity that's commonly used, but all kinds of different tension. And so, part of sexual blindness is feeling tension and wanting to dispel it very quickly or like smooth it out. And so, a little bit of tension of just I'm putting a little something out there, gonna make it a little bit charged, the atmosphere a little bit charged. That's very sexy and attractive.
Yeah,
Yep.
it can be kind of your like hook. Like, it's a great time for Brian to walk in. No, it's okay. I was just about to talk about all my sexual experiences. So,
All the positions you like.
I've only ever had sex with you. You're correct. Yeah. Um, no, but what I was gonna say, you should definitely leave that in. Is you can use that as a hook. So like if you're awkward and you don't really know how to like dispel it, you can be like, "Oh, I'm an awkward little girl, like baby doll kind of style." Like, and it can be like if a dominant guy is into you, they can be really into you then because that's really hot, and they'll be like, "It's okay, I'll take charge. Let's
Yeah.
fuck."
Yeah,
Mhm.
like if
So,
you actually say the question that, or the thing that you're asking us about, like, what do I like? I feel awkward, but I just know that I'm into you. Like
hmm
that's it's just being honest, like being vulnerable about where you're at and saying that. I think is going to turn a lot of people on. So
and it's a
just
universal experience.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times sexual dominant people have made me cringe, but I'm on a podcast with you
Oh,
three, and it's like every 5 minutes. So
take it back.
I will not.
I
No,
say
I
you're
mean
welcome.
part of being sexual dominant is like just willing to humiliate yourself and just
Oh
keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah, that's why I could never date a sexual dominant because I was just constant cringing. And as a three, it's like ugh, nails on a chalkboard.
I mean, all three all have seen me in action, and
Oh yeah.
it's just it's
with
shameless and
with
It is.
with you know who in the corner with her face covered, wondering why she's married to you.
Hi, I have a question for the podcast relating to relationships, and my question is surrounding jealousy. I guess there's been a lot of discussion about attraction and relationships and love and sex lately, and I guess I'm curious about how the different types maybe experience jealousy or if it's more, as I suspect, related to instinct stacking and then just kind of experience through the type based on your instinct stacking. So I wondered if you guys have had any experience with jealous lovers or being jealous yourself in relationships, because even in healthy relationships built on trust, it's an issue that can bubble up from time to time. And then, of course, there's all this surrounding cuckolding and people being turned on by jealousy, and then some people are very turned off by jealousy. So I just thought it might be an interesting topic to explore surrounding the Enneagram. So thank you. And I also just want to say that if it was not for this particular podcast, I probably would have lost interest in the Enneagram a long time ago. So keep doing what you're doing and have a good day. Oh, and more David Gray mouth noises as much as possible. Thanks. Bye.
So she
Hmm.
wants to know about jealousy and if it has to do with instincts or type thing. Um, I feel like that's like a really universal thing, and I feel like um,
Mm,
well, as a sexual type, because I've been with sexual blinds who were pretty sensitive to jealousy. I think each of the instincts is framing it differently, but as a sexual type, I think what I'm jealous of might be different, or the reason I might feel jealousy might be different. And for me, it's the sense that I'm seeing my partner being intrigued or wanting, like being sexually hooked by, like someone else is getting a rise out of her.
Mm.
It's like my ability to sense arousal in other people. I mean, that's sort of the sexual instinct thing, is that you're really attuned to the degrees of arousal in yourself and in others. And so if I've been seeing someone for a while, like if I can actually notice and see that maybe a guy walks into the room and she is uh, charged up by that person's presence, that's gonna fuck with me, Or maybe she's like really paying attention to this guy that I know I know that she has a physical reaction to. Uh, that's gonna fuck with me. And if she's spending time with some guy and I don't actually can't read the attraction, I can't read any heat coming off of her or towards that person, then I probably I wouldn't feel jealous. But it's when I actually can feel that my partner is sexually interested in someone else, that's when it starts to fuck with me.
so I'm guessing that like you don't feel like Hollywood type jealousy where you like think something might be going on and you can kind of get in your head about it kind of thing.
I mean, in my mind, I know that your partner could at any point, because I'm a hoe. I at any I'm at any point sex could happen, right? And
hmm
and it feels that way. Like it could turn, like you could get turned on, like if she's at a after work thing or whatever. next thing you know, like in my mind, I think that that's possible. So
Hmm.
the potential that my partner would cheat on me is, uh, it's very possible. Like that could happen. But I think what really hurts is like, okay, let's say she wanted to have sex with someone else, or she did. The thought of that doesn't hurt as much as knowing that someone else is more interesting to her than me.
Hmm.
That, I mean, you could fuck somebody else, but it's like, who did you fuck? It's like,
I need to know.
it's like what like how it's not necessarily the sex,
How
but it's
into
like,
it were you?
yeah,
How
like how
into that
into
person?
that person were you? Like I could
Yeah.
fuck someone else and it wouldn't mean anything to me because I'm like really attracted and into this my partner. But if you fuck somebody else and this is the person that you actually prefer to be with, and then that's what would fuck with me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm gonna be jealous regardless if my partner
Right.
had sex with someone else, but I'm just saying like it doesn't really hit the spot until it gets into that zone
It doesn't
of,
hit the back walls.
yes, it does not hit the jealousy back walls unless it's she's actually more interested in that other person.
I have never really related to jealousy all that much, because I don't really worry about my partner fucking someone else. Like, I don't really care because I've always like been fine with open relationships. It just doesn't bother me. But I think what would get me is like if they had an emotional connection with someone. Like, I think
Ooh.
so. One thing that does kind of get under my skin is like if Brian is spending a lot of time with other people. Not that I think he's going to fuck them. It's just like, but I want your time. Like, that's the kind of jealousy that I get. It's like, no, but me. Like, not that I'm afraid
Right.
he's going to do something. It's more of just like a, and I think it's always been that way. Like, I've never felt like, oh my God, he fucked someone else. I'm always like, no.
Hmm. Are you guys sort of open or no?
We were at the beginning, a little bit more just because of like my work at the time. I was doing, sex work, so we had to be. But
Okay.
now we're exclusive. But I mean, it wasn't hard at the beginning on either of us. So
Can I pull you back away into?
no, I think
Oh,
he
okay.
might not like if I knew the guy.
It would be kind of like how you don't like how when he's hanging out with somebody else.
Well, when he's giving his time to someone else, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
it'd be similar.
I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah, well, you might have to talk to him on that one.
Have a
Brian,
9
I need to talk to you.
Yeah, 9 and 9.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah,
was such
John.
a creepy laugh. You're like, hey.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous all around. Yeah. What were you gonna say about that?
Well, yeah, I'll say it's hard sometimes for me to summarize. Like I'm jealous of past partners. I'm jealous of the idea, like sort of what Emeka was speaking to is like even the knowing like my partner, like, and it's just totally nonsense. I know, and I know it's like total bullshit, but I can't help feeling the way I feel. But I have a very visual, very clear imagination, and so like imagining my partner with their past partners, or I'm pretty open in terms of people, my partner hanging out with other people, and I like because I really think it's super fucking important for a couple to have like not independent social lives, but like active social lives that sometimes cross and sometimes are their own thing. So like friendships like are totally cool, but I can sense pretty quickly if there's like a thing.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm not into open stuff at all, and I've had partners try to introduce that and it didn't go well. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I'd say like like in a certain way, like I'm possessive,
Hmm.
and I need the attention and juice to be on me, and and reciprocate that. And like I want my partner and I to be really into each other. And yeah, like I've had partners in the past sort of not quite like full on cheat, but like kind of like go past boundaries and with other people, and it just like deeply wounded me. Like just shattered something uh really intensely. So, I don't know how much of that is specifically how much is specifically sexual, how much that's me, but I know that Naranjo called sexual for competition, and most idiots interpret competition to mean like I care about business, or I like to be the best at things. And, he's talking about his
That's a
sexual
3.
competition.
Yeah.
People will certainly turn sexual 4 into a moody 3 or something.
They don't give a
but-
fuck about businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't give a fuck. But
Ever.
yeah, there's a lot of wanting to. I mean, and I think a lot of people relate to this, but I think sexual 4 puts a lot more action behind it. But it's like, I want to be the one that you've loved the most and who's made you to come the hardest, and I want you to only think about me and be the most into me. And I've got all these different facets, and like, I'm not the gonna provide you with a lifestyle and money guy because the handicap of my type or whatever.
And plus,
But-
that's boring.
Plus, that's boring. But yeah, I have all these sort of these things that I think are. It's like I can't get out the loop of what I sort of think would be enticing because they're also sort of just I can't like adapt myself to be a different way. So I just enhance certain things about myself. But yeah, anyway, jealousy is like actually a pretty big problem for me that I have to work through a lot and do a lot of inner like work and talking about and sort of just getting emotionally through. It's a big issue for me.
So I guess for sexual types, it's gonna be a big issue because the oh my god zone is in the attraction zone. So I mean, seems to be a given because what I've noticed with sexual blinds is that the leeway for how much they're willing to play in that zone or just be flippant about it, all that's the part of the question was talking about like cuckolding and shit like that. Those or just like sex parties. Not to say that people that have sex or sexual instinct in their stacking don't engage in those activities, but they seem to be a phenomenon that was created out of like a sexual blind
Mhm.
perspective, where like the only way you'd be like getting off of cuckolding is if that shit was compartmentalized.
I think like sex parties and that kind of stuff is like social mayhem.
Yeah.
Like if
Oh,
you've
yeah,
ever been to
totally.
one,
Yeah.
it's like there are rules that you don't know exist, and like it just
Yeah.
it's social. It's social to the max.
I went to a sex party once and like I was nervous as fuck or whatever, but quickly it was like, oh, this is really weird because it was like a super social atmosphere.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like some eyes wide shut kind of shit, and it was like it was in New York in this like kind of big, enormous, lofty thing, and
Oh, that sounds fun.
yeah, it was okay. It was fascinating. It was like a
Mhm.
zoological observation, but it was like there was like a dance floor and there was like some DJs and stuff, and there was like an outdoor area. It was very cold. There was like some tents people could bang in, and then there was like a banging room, and it was like full of plastic covered mattresses, and it was
Ooh.
like
Oh,
weird.
that's
It was
not the vibe.
no, it was super
That's
New
not the
York
vibe.
because it was like everybody was super close together, but like still very much in their own compartmentalized atmosphere.
Mm,
And like I remember the atmosphere, the feeling in the atmosphere being like, this feels incredibly social.
yeah, it
Uh,
is.
It was weird. It's not what I expected.
I always really enjoyed the ones that weren't so like actually sex focused. Like people go somewhere else to fuck, but they go there to like get turned on.
See, that would have been much sexier. Like I didn't
Yeah.
participate. I just was like observing, and it was like my
Yeah.
first and only sex party, but it was like I was like, all right, well, this is a novel experience I cannot
Yeah, I'm never gonna
not
do this again.
have.
But
Was it
But-
mostly ugly people there? And
yeah, it
or-
was surprisingly unattractive. I was like I was ready for some like oh god, I'm gonna be humiliated, and like
no,
all
no.
these gorgeous people, and I was like, no, it's
No.
just really less than average.
Yeah, most of the ones I've been to are like sugar babies with their sugar daddies, or kink play, that kind of stuff, and most of those people aren't pretty to look at.
I've heard of parties where they have like sort of like a selection process, like
Yes.
hot people sex parties. I think people pay pretty good money to go to those. I could see why. Imagine that you walk into a room and just like hot people everywhere fucking.
There's some that friends of mine, stripper friends of mine, who like they it's called Sanctum, And it's
Uh,
like women are like, I don't know the selection process for women, but I used to think usually a lot of them are like sex workers of some kind or strippers or something. But then the men pay like thousands of dollars to get in.
Mhm.
yeah, that
And
makes
so
sense.
it's like the atmosphere is like, apparently it's, very like exclusive and high
Exclusive.
class. And so people are generally, at least like the women, are very good looking. It's sort of like if you pay enough to get that much to get in, you're almost guaranteed to like have sex with somebody or something. And they
Yeah.
have like actual sexually explicit performances and things like that.
See, now that's good. That's a good way to spend your money.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good vibe right there. Like, I would love to be those sex workers. I bet that's so fun. I bet you make so much money.
I think you make
Yeah.
pretty good money.
Oh my god, like the the exclusive clubs. Holy shit,
Yeah.
that would be nice.
But yeah, it seems like the jealousy question is it just seems very person specific because you can't really see. I mean, I guess generally with sexual types, the sensitivity to that's going to be high, but it's not to say that I haven't seen people that have sexual and they're stacking or like sexual nines that are doing polyamory type shit. That because probably that whole concept was designed or come up with by a nine with sexual. So it seems like it just depends on the person. And of course, sexual blinds are less sensitive to it. And not to say that sexual blinds are less jealous, because there are plenty of really jealous sexual
Sure,
blinds.
sure.
I don't know if there's any type perspective that's going to be consistently not jealous or less sensitive to jealousy.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to what John said for the most part in a lot of ways. I picture the person, doing something with somebody else, and that's hurtful and, all of that kind of shit. It gets visual for me. And as people probably know, I want the person to be crazy about me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's just the worst thing you could do, really, in a way.
I wonder if there's an assertive type thing,
Could be.
because
Mm-hmm.
as an
Yeah.
assertive type, there's a certain level of what's the word, sociopathy, maybe.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it's hard for me to. I mean, I feel jealous like like anybody else, but there's a certain level of detachment that I have. Like on some level, I have to accept that them fucking someone else because I mean that's what people do every day.
It's sort of like being comfortable with the assertive, aggressive animal part of everybody and everything, maybe.
Yeah, like I mean, what?
Right.
Because I know that I can fuck somebody in an instant. So
Mhm.
like, how would I like? I know that if the right conditions were there with the right person, I know that there's hardly any human who can turn that down. So even if my partner came to me and said, "Listen, I was in a situation. I had a little too much to drink, and there's this hot guy, and I fucked him." It would hurt, but it's like I don't know if that would really destroy me to,
Hmm.
because it's not really the spot, but because I
Mhm.
know that it can happen. Like I'm not to say that I
Mhm.
would do that, but I know that there's a part of me that could easily just fuck and not have
You
it mean anything.
Yeah, that's a good point, Emika, because I like if Brian like came to me and said that, like that would obviously fucking hurt. But like I don't think I could do the same to him and him come out the other side.
Well, so that's another piece for me is I need to have total freedom to do whatever the hell I want sexually.
Yeah. David, we're
Yeah,
never gonna
okay.
work out. I hope you know
Okay.
that. Like
He's like super sensitive if she looks at somebody else, and David's over here having threesomes. Is like
yeah, I
That's
don't know
it.
what you're fucking talking about, babe.
just
This
the
is
way
a
it's gotta
Total-
completely
be.
healthy relationship, babe.
Total double standard. Total.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
would never work out, hon.
Well, I'm still going to keep working it.
Okay.
I think I could work out in a somewhat open thing, not like we're actively looking out for other partners, but I
Sure.
do like um the a slight freedom that if let's say her dream crush is some celebrity, Jason Momoa, and she ended up in a bar with Jason Momoa, and he wants to fuck, like I give my blessing. You fuck Jason.
Yeah, I mean, well, so there is. I do have a list. I have a list.
You get that Jason Momoa dick. I will not judge that.
Man, that's not me. I'm
I can't
I
relate
gotta
to that at
fuck better
all.
than
Not
Jason
even
Momoa. You know what I mean? Like
No,
that's,
I'm not. You're not Jason Momoa.
that's like
Fuck
that's
off.
like that's my thing.
No, no,
it's
I'm
It's not
realistic.
rational.
Nope,
I'm
it's
realistic.
not. I'll tell you that.
I'm realistic. I know there has to be the way better dudes at fucking. Like regardless of however good that I think I am or I am, there's someone who can do it better. And if she has, if she meets some hot dude that she's into, and I meet some hot girl that I'm into, it doesn't mean anything to me, and I'm not trying to get into a relationship with that person, like for a one night stand or whatever. Like that's okay.
It's like my
Yeah.
mental brain understands like this shit, but my emotional brain doesn't. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Like it's always been a problem for me. Like I know it's not fair or normal or whatever, but I've always had this like intense thing where it's got to be on me, and like I feel like if it is, I reciprocate, but if I feel like that's been violated, like I might attribute it to my Capricorn moon from the point of view of like I feel like my roots go really deep with somebody, and then when I feel like they don't take it seriously the way I do, suddenly it's like a severing.
Yeah.
You're done.
Well,
But I also can't imagine a woman like loving me and really admiring me, like not admiring like, oh, it's so great, but just like you want your partner to have a certain kind of admiration for you. Like it's like my brain cannot compute a partner loving and admiring me unless I'm the best at like fuck they've ever had. Like I
yeah.
and the body and everything, all the parts of the body, like all that stuff. Like, and it's just it's not rational, but it's like it's just somehow in my thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
a little
guess.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess for me it's the sex act is like I can recognize that you can enjoy fucking someone else and it's great, but you can also have different sex with someone else.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
like there's no way that the sex that someone's having with me, it could be the best sex that they ever had. But they could also have a great experience that's different with someone else. And like yeah, I guess part of it is for me is the freedom of having that option open. Like I would
Yeah.
like to be monogamous, but I would also like the freedom that if the moment struck, that I could just have a meaningless fuck with someone else and that my partner could do the same.
Yeah.
So if anyone's out there that feels that way about relationships, hit up Emma.
Head up Emeka.
If you
Next
want to be
love line.
monogamous, non-monogamous.
Yeah, just you could have a meaningless fuck every now and then. That's you got to be able to do that.
Yeah, there's a contract you can draw up. It'll be fun.
Leave
Yeah.
your phone number on the love line.
What's
Find
weird
me.
too in this is like I'm very confident in like my sexual whatever, and so it's like I'm always like if I have a breakup or something, like, oh, they're not gonna have as good a whatever. Like it's like I'm very confident in that dimension, so it's not like it, but it's I don't understand myself in this area. You know what I mean? It's like I don't like. I wish I had your attitude, Emeka. Like
I'm like, I'm good. Like it's like I know she's having good sex with me, but she can go and have bad sex with that dude.
I guess I have like a whole thing about like I don't know. It's like I know cognitively, but emotionally, like I don't know where love comes from. Sometimes, you know. What I mean?
Okay. Maybe it's a thing where you're like, maybe something could spark with that person.
I just
you
feel
know?
like I feel like anybody who loves me, their love for me is tenuous.
Okay.
And I feel like
Mm.
they're going like it's this like conviction that like love is very scarce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I think for me, there's a certain level of the autonomy of 8 where it's like I want to be loved, but there's a sense that I need some separation at all times.
Yeah.
So like even like the idea of I'm really uncomfortable with the idea of living together with a partner. I've never done it. And maybe this idea of, hey, you can always like possibility of having a random fuck with someone is a good way to sort of, yeah, you love me, but it's like there's some like exit door here that's available because it's kind of mirrors the cynicism I have about the whole thing. where it's like you can't be like totally into me and completely devoted. That's a little uncomfortable.
So what I'm learning here is that boys are just as ridiculous as girls.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to
For sure.
hear any men over here saying that women are complicated. All right.
Oh no, you're not
The
going to hear that
point
from
at
us. John
Yeah,
is
I'm
complicated.
a messy bitch.
High maintenance to the max.
Yeah, I don't hide it. I don't pretend. You know, it's part of the package. Is like, you know, you get with a sexual four, you're gonna get messy and complicated and like a whole thing, but it's gonna be a good experience. It's gonna be you're gonna go through something.
All right, we need to move on to the
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah.
This one is called it's a David Gray mail order question.
Oh boy. Wow.
So let me hit play here.
Oh boy.
Hey, I'm calling with a question for the love line. I'm wondering if David had to mail order a woman to share a desert island with, maybe even a kind of nice desert island with food. So she doesn't have to be survivalist so much, but there's no one else. They have to work together forever. Which type would he choose of the 130 or 60 or whatever it is type wing trifect instinctual bearing, and maybe even a level of self-development, inner work, self-awareness.
Let me get part two.
Oh my
part
God.
two.
Oh my God.
David was not prepared for this.
Hold on, let me get part two.
Oh,
I think
shit.
it's like 20 seconds.
Just a little add-on to the question about David's mail order companion. I was also wanting to know why. Which type and why.
Who is this woman?
She wants to know if you want to go on a desert island with
Yep,
her.
mhm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure has fantasies about you, David.
This is the best one we've got yet.
This is great.
Yeah, this is pretty
so
great.
good.
This is what we're looking for. More of this, people.
David, you
And
got
this
the
is
floor.
this is where the 9 goes blank when the target's on them.
So good luck.
So a specific type down to all the details on.
Well, I already know the answer to this based on what David goes crazy for.
So
Self-Press Social 369.
3 4 369. Short, dark hair, nice ass.
Oh, see, now you're putting the moves on me. Okay.
I didn't say I didn't want you to be attracted to me. I just said it would
Okay.
never work.
Well,
Big
I don't care
difference
about
there.
the working. We're just
Mhm.
talking
Mhm.
momentary moments in the night. Let's see. Well, the one that's been super hot for me at least a couple of times. It's hard to review my history here.
So many.
The one that's been super hot sexually, and that's probably the only thing that matters to me on a desert island when there's plenty of food, is self-pres sexual 6 with a 7,
Mhm.
and with either a 1 or an 8 fix, so they're fucking really feisty, and there's a lot of tension, and I probably hate them.
Yep.
And
Only
Go ahead.
resolvable through sex.
only resolvable through
Angry
sex.
angry
angry-
sex.
Angry sex where
Yep.
yeah, I just want to destroy them. What else?
I think no type is more maddening than a 6 with a 7.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I love my 6 to 7s, but come on.
Yeah. Well, and there's a certain kind of tension, I guess, when you're a 9 relative to a 6, because it's like, shut the fuck up, man. Just calm down.
It's
Right.
not just 6 and 9. It's 6 and everyone else.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Everyone's saying
Um,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So heart fix. That's a good question. I think I'd go with anyone. I don't really care about hearts, so. No. No, there's something to be said for any of the two that were the most intense were with a 4 fix and the other was with a 3 fix. So I'd probably pick those because 2's a little bit too nice. And that kind of mutes the hate that I'm going for, the sexual tension hate. What else? What are my other things I need to list?
Levels of development.
That's hilarious.
Level 1.
He wants to groom that person.
Yeah, level 1.
No, I want them level 7, so they're like fucking insane, mentally ill.
That's it.
The hatred is.
He just wants someone who's just a ball of Play-Doh that he can just mold into whatever he wants.
Well, no, it's got to
No,
be.
you can't mold a 6. Like
Mm,
No,
that's
you
true,
can't.
that's
No.
true.
they'll
no,
go
no.
opposite of everything you want.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, level 1 would ruin everything. Because then that would mean the problem's no longer there, and there needs to be a big problem. Shit. Okay.
What was the second
so
part of
le-
her question? What was the second part of her question?
Well, I think I remember it, but yeah. So I'd say final answer level 5, 6, or 7 on the health level.
And
So
she asked what was
why? Well, I think I've been saying why.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
You're
all
pretty clear.
sexual. Just
Sexual tension.
sexual
friction.
tension, friction.
Mm.
Yeah, just
Please don't say
uh,
friction about a desert island and sex.
okay.
That just that,
No sand in the crotch.
yeah, no.
Uh,
Ugh.
what else on the why? I mean, conversely, because I am ultimately such a sweet 9, there is a thing that I do, which is to kind of just envelop them in the 9 yummy cream, right? Right, not that cream, but the energetic
Cream.
cream that is kind of like to finally get them to just stop all of that 6 shit, right? And all of that scratchy, all the verbal stuff, just, stop talking and just kind of bring them into their bodies, and so I can do the affection piece, which is probably not very interesting, but it's there.
I think that covers that question.
Great,
Yeah.
great question.
Yeah.
Very
question.
good question.
Whoever
Very
sent that
valid.
in, that's exactly what we're looking for.
These have
More
all been
of
good.
that.
These have been interesting.
And whoever sent that in, I hope you're that type and give me a call.
Even if you're not that type, give him a call.
Yeah, still
Pretend to
give
be
him
that
a
type.
call. Yeah.
Okay, let me move on to the next one. This is the last one. I labeled it breakup. So let's see here.
Okay, this is my question for the podcast Loveline. It's not personal, but I am curious to know what you guys think are the most and least triggering ways to break up with each type. Have a good day or night, whatever.
Triggering.
That's a long list to go through.
Most and least way to break up with
Triggering.
each, or most and least triggering way to break up with each type.
Man, I don't even know how
That's
to.
a whole podcast, man.
That is a whole podcast. Maybe we should save that for like its own show.
Maybe we could just do the most and least ways that we've been broken up with, each of us, so we can hit that real quick.
My brain immediately was like, I don't remember any time I've been broken up with.
Of course,
same
you're
here.
Fucking
so
3.
Everyone loves me. I've never been broken up with.
Okay, my worst breakup happened. It wasn't like a full-on thing, but we were flirting with getting back together, and she texted me saying that she was dating someone else, and I was really mad about that. That's probably the most triggering way that I've been broken up with. And then, Yeah.
Let me ask you though about that though. You get mad, but do you ever get to the vulnerability part?
What do you mean?
I was about to ask that too. What is vulnerability?
Well, I mean, I think the thing that was going on with that one was that we'd been seeing each other like maybe once every week and a half or once every week, and so like I'd seen her like maybe a week before. So I think it wasn't necessarily that she'd moved on to someone else. It was more that you were gonna send this to me over text. Like our dynamic wasn't that.
Mm.
Mhm.
And like she could have easily, and she started backtracking to try to like meet me at dinner to just hang out, and I guess realizing that she would have been really upset if I would have sent her a text like that. It wasn't like it wasn't like a full-on thing, but it was like the audacity that you would send this to me over text. I've never had that happen to me before, and I've heard of people having that happen to them, and I was just like, you know me too well. Like this has been going on for over a year. You did this on purpose to try to fuck with me, and so that was like that's why it was upsetting. It wasn't because I think she knew that it would be upsetting to me. That's why she did it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that sucks. A text message breakup sounds like, I mean, I've never experienced it. It sounds like one of the worst ways to get broken up with.
Like it wasn't even. It was not even. I'm breaking up with you. It was more
Yeah.
like. It was more like I'm dating someone else, and I said, "All right," and then I didn't speak to her again.
In true ape fashion.
That was it. I was like, "That's it."
Yeah.
So wait, what were you asking about vulnerability?
Yeah.
What does
Well,
that
I
mean?
guess it wasn't. It sounds like it wasn't the kind of. Partly what you're saying is it wasn't the kind of relationship where you'd be hurt necessarily.
Well, we'd already broken up, and so you know that thing where you get back together, and it's like you might get back together, like get back into a full-on relationship, and so we've been seeing each other for like 6 more months after we'd been broken up. So it's like, okay, this could go that way, and because I mean, at that point, there's a certain level of you know each other well, you know what each other are like. So who the fuck does that? You know, so who like I don't that's not the way I do things. I didn't think that was the way she did things. So it was more like I think she was doing that because she was trying to fuck with me in that kind of way, or she was pissed off about something, and so she was trying to throw this in my face that in that way. Because I mean, she could have just ghosted me. She could have just not said anything and just went and dated her new guy. But she needed to text me to say I'm dating someone. And I was like, cool.
Fuck you.
Fuck you forever.
What's
Anyway.
the least triggering way for you? What's the best breakup?
The best breakup. Best breakup is just don't like ghost me, but just keep coming up with excuses to not meet up. I'm not clinging. As soon as I get even a hint that someone doesn't want to continue, it's like I have moved into detach mode. So I mean, that's kind of what I expect, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have a conversation about it. I just want that person to move on, basically.
So
Don't say any-
you don't want them to be like brutally honest, because I would have expected that.
I don't want to talk about it.
No.
Like
Okay.
I can sense that you've moved on. I mean, I've heard people. It's also okay if someone said, "Hey, I'm don't want to see you anymore," or "I'm not interested." But there's a part of me that prefers it not to be said because there's something about if I hear you say that,
Mm.
then the possibility of me even looking at you in an attract in a sort of like maybe we do something again, it's gone.
Mm.
But if you just sort of drift away, then I can sort of I can look back on it fondly without like having to completely sever you in my mind or, you know. So like I just prefer the best breakup is I sense that you're moving on and you just fucking move on. You don't say anything to me. And I get it. You know, that's
Right. That's good to know.
Different. Yeah.
I mean, I'll hit you up, and if you're just like give me the cold shoulder, I get it. It's like it's done. All right, cool.
So
Man,
Let's get back to the humans.
yeah, back to humans. So like yeah, I dated a self-pres sexual 4 with a 5 wing 594 tri or yeah 495 tri-type, and it was like the breakups were never like clean cut, and neither of us could cut it off from the other, and so it was like a couple years of breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. One time I don't remember all the details or anything, but I just remember like really abruptly like doing this withdrawal thing, and
She did or you did?
she did,
Mhm.
and then she would like reach out and get back together. So it was like after a period, it was like never clear if a breakup was a breakup, you know. And it just I don't know, it just made me insane.
Wait, who would initiate? She would initiate the breakup, and
She would.
she would have a talk with you and say, "I'm breaking up with you." How would that go?
I'm having trouble remembering actually, but it was also vague. So it's like it didn't stick in my memory that well of what actually went down because it was like, wait, this is what's going on now.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of like I could sense her like hatefulness, you know, like she'd just like get pissy and frustrated and whatever. But I wouldn't really understand what was going on, and she wouldn't let me in on like her feelings or her process. And then we'd still be like connected in certain ways. So like the first one, I remember we lived together for a while, and then she moved out, and then I got a roommate, and then I moved out of that place, and then like our fucking landlady or whatever like tried to sue us or some shit like this.
What?
Yeah, it was she was a type 1. It was like totally insane.
Okay.
And I did all this like we were like, oh fuck, and so I did all this like research we treated the apartment just fine, like it wasn't like we were shitty in the apartment or anything. And so I did all this like research and like came back at her with this whole like fuck off, like you're you're just trying to intimidate us and give us our deposit back and all this stuff. And that like got us communicating again, and she liked the way I handled it, and so then she started reaching out to me again, and it was got this whole thing. And I don't know, it was crazy, but it was really just fucked with me because there was no there was, I guess, like as a reactive type, like I needed a little bit of that like where do you actually stand kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it seems to me, from what I can see, or based on my experience with some of you crazy ass fours, is that y'all are messy, man. Y'all are really messy. Just
Messy.
in terms of it's like wanting a problem, just needing things to be fucked up, but you think, oh, this person's frustrated and hating this relationship dynamic, but they'll just, go back to it because it's like being okay with fucked upness and like being upset and being frustrated. Like being happy in a relationship is not necessarily doesn't seem like that is the ideal situation. Like having some undercurrent of a problem is okay. So
Yeah, I mean, happy is the aim, but it's like, yeah, an undercurrent of a problem is not a problem.
yes, there you go. Yeah. So that was your worst breakup. So what was your best? You haven't had a best.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. The best breakup. I mean, I guess let's see. There were like earlier, like sort of not very serious relationships that were easier to. There wasn't as much investment, you know. So it was sort of simple.
How about you, David?
I think I've usually been the one that breaks up.
You've never been broken up with.
Shocking.
Let me see. Hold on.
What about the 7
That's
who was
shocking.
flirting all over the place? Did she break up with you?
That one just kind of faded. That was late high school, but she went off to school somewhere. I mean, I think there's probably not a lot of breakups because it's often just a lot of fading outs, you know, just like nonverbal drift happens.
From you,
Yeah, from me, and
saying it like it's something that's just happening.
yeah, it's just happening. It doesn't
It's-
involve me at all.
I don't exist.
I'm not
Been
here.
dead for 50 years.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like fading is happening while David is refusing to communicate for weeks.
Fading is happening on
mean I
this call
ghosted
right
you?
now.
Yeah, really. We lost him 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Are you guys here? It's usually that. It's usually, I mean, my long-term relationships, I usually go about 3 years at the most. I think I've had about maybe like half a dozen of those, maybe something like that. And it's usually a sexual boredom thing for me. Like
Mhm.
just the interest, the juiciness, the tension leaves on the sex part, and so I'm just kind of like, that makes, why am I still here? And
I feel that. I feel that.
yeah, and then I mean, that in itself is a pretty acute, fade out right there. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the actual, like, the life force of the thing is no longer there, right?
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so it just kind of drifts, and
Where he's trying to say is that he just kind of drifts.
yes, yeah. But I guess the reason I'm giving them some drift is that I don't recall, like, them coming. I don't remember times of them, coming back to me and saying, well, are we broken up or what's happening?
Right,
Or-
right, right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I cast out a cloud that, does makes it all split apart or dissipate somehow.
Hmm.
Maybe. I don't know.
This is like Nine's just
Yeah.
Yeah, nine's
Making-
just nining.
making sure that a bad breakup doesn't happen. It's just like it dissipates.
Yeah. It just goes. It just drains out. Gone.
What about you, Nancy?
Mm,
What is a
I think
bad breakup.
yeah, don't embarrass me. Like, don't make
Mm,
me look like a fucking idiot because
Mm.
god
Mm.
damn it, there are some boys who
Mhm.
are not men, they are boys. Who they like I really enjoy giving in a relationship. Like I enjoy like giving, like baking cookie. Like I enjoy doing that part. And I will only do it in a relationship. I don't do it for my friends.
Yeah, still waiting on the cookies.
Yeah, no, I don't
yeah.
do that for friends. I only do that for people who are
Mm.
fucking me good. So I did it. So this guy like was never really clear about the breakup, and then like I kept doing things for him, and he like was just never very clear. And then later on, it was like, oh no, we're broken up, and I was like, you fucking piece of
Mm.
shit. Like, don't
Mm.
make me do that. Like, I want you to be clear. Tell
Mm.
me that you aren't into it, and like
Mhm.
just grow a fucking pair,
Hmm.
both
Yeah.
women and men.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they're like not telling me that it's over. I hate that shit. I hate it.
So he was still hanging out with you, even though
Yeah, like just I would imagine he was 9, just like nining out, just like, oh yeah, this is fine. Like, oh yeah, by the way, I don't really like you anymore. But like,
I have done that conversation before where I did say that, and it's but it's weird. I think probably as a 9, I assumed that the other person knew it, and that was probably a way to soften it for myself, right?
Mhm.
Like,
I mean, it's fine if you like want to tell me that we're breaking up. Like that's cool, but don't like, you
Yeah.
know, think that we're broken up, but like keep accepting things from me. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
shit.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is
very.
weird, and it makes me feel dumb. But yeah, I've had plenty of guys who are just like, "No, I'm not into it anymore," and I'm like, "Okay, bye."
So
And
that
we're still like fine. We're still friends. Like I don't give a shit.
so that would be an example of your best breakups. They're just direct and they say it, and that's it.
Yeah, and generally I know when they're coming. Like those kinds of guys. Like I can tell when they're about to break up with me. So I'm like, nah,
How can you tell?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I just know. Like, and just in pretty much all of the people who are like, okay, I'm going to break up with you. I like know like 2 weeks in advance.
Hmm.
So I have my like little sad moment all by myself, and then when they actually break up with me, I'm like, yeah, I know. Here's your key.
I guess it's just vibes then.
Yeah, I don't really know what it is, but yeah, I've had multiple breakups where like I was on like one was on the phone because we were long distance, but he was like, "Do you even like this anymore?" And I was like, "Not really," and we were both like, "Okay."
That's an interesting way to break up.
Yeah, I've had like 3 breakups like that where we were just like,
Wow.
Pretty easy.
yeah, it's just
Do
like,
you do you even like this anymore?
yeah.
I don't know if I even like that, but that's interesting.
Well, it's because like it only
a good
works
line.
because I know that vibe is there already. So I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I know you don't like it anymore, so just go. Just go.
That's just a weird thing to say. I guess I don't even do. I even do anything that I don't like? That'd be a weird thing to hear from someone, or to even say to someone. Can you imagine me
you
doing
can, like,
something?
realize, like, I'm not feeling this anymore. You know, like I think
Yeah, I don't know. It's so like whenever I get to that point, it's so my mood. I get so irritated. So it's like I don't have to say that. You're gonna know it. Interesting. All right, so that's the last one.
Okay.
well,
we're
thanks for
at-
the heroes
Yeah.
Yeah.
submitted.
Please see, this is how we're going to act. These were the first 4, so now everybody can call in feeling safe and happy about it.
I thought we were
Yeah.
gonna blow through this, but this is actually
Yeah, this
good
was
content.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to bed.
All right.
Okay.
Night.
All right.
Good night.
Hey guys.
Good night, y'all.